Imagine trying to hold in your mind the idea that a circle could also be a straight line, or that light and darkness could be one and the same. In ordinary thought, such contradictions are impossible. The human mind thrives on clear distinctions, yes or no, here or there, being or non-being. But in the 15th century, the German philosopher, theologian, and Cardinal Nicholas of Cusa proposed something radical, that in the infinite mind of God, opposites do not merely coexist, they coincide. He called this insight the coincidentia oppositorum, the coincidence of opposites. For Cusa, God is not contained within the categories we use to think about the world. Rather, God transcends them all, and at that infinite level, what appears contradictory to us is perfectly united. In this vision, God is the absolute maximum and the absolute minimum at once, beyond all limits yet present in every point, the unity in which all differences resolve. In this video, we'll explore Cusa's profound and paradoxical philosophy, how it emerged from the Renaissance search for unity, how it reshapes the way we think about God, creation, and consciousness, and why it still resonates with modern science and mysticism. Nicholas of Cusa was born in 1401 in the town of Cues on the Moselle River, in what is now Germany. He came of age during the Renaissance, a time when Europe was emerging from the medieval world into a new era of exploration, both geographical and intellectual. As a church cardinal, he participated in major councils, navigated political conflicts, and worked to heal divisions in Christendom. But behind his political duties was a deeply original philosophical mind, steeped in Christian theology yet open to insights from mathematics, science, and mystical contemplation. Cusa lived in a period of shifting worldviews, the rediscovery of ancient Greek thought, the stirrings of scientific inquiry, and the flowering of humanism, and he sought a vision of God and reality that could embrace both reason and mystery. His major works, including On Learned Ignorance, De Docta Ignorantia, challenged the limits of human knowledge, insisting that the ultimate truth cannot be captured by finite concepts. It was in this context that he formulated his daring doctrine of the coincidence of opposites. Cusa's philosophy begins with humility, the acknowledgement that when it comes to the infinite, our knowledge is always incomplete. He called this stance Docta Ignorantia, learned ignorance, the paradoxical wisdom that arises when we recognize the limits of our own understanding. Just as a finite polygon, no matter how many sides it has, can never perfectly become a circle, so our finite concepts can never fully grasp the infinite nature of God. Yet this ignorance is not a failure. It is the starting point for a deeper kind of knowing, one that accepts mystery and opens the mind to truths beyond the reach of reason. This is the soil in which the coincidence of opposites grows. If God is truly infinite, then all our distinctions between large and small, motion and rest, unity and multiplicity, break down in the divine perspective. What appears as contradiction to our limited minds is, in God, a perfect and necessary unity. At the heart of Cusa's thought is the idea that in the infinite, opposites meet. In our finite world, a line and a circle are different, but if a circle becomes infinitely large, its curvature becomes imperceptible. It coincides with a straight line. Likewise, the smallest possible point and the largest conceivable expanse meet in the infinite, because infinity contains all measures without limit. God, as infinite being, is both the absolute maximum, beyond which nothing greater can exist, and the absolute minimum, containing even the smallest possibility. This is not mere wordplay, but a profound metaphysical claim. God is the unity in which all differences and all contradictions are reconciled. The divine mind holds together all the polarities that define our experience, beginning and end, cause and effect, being and non-being. From our perspective, these are opposites. In God, they are one and the same. This vision does not erase the reality of distinctions in the world, but it reveals them as partial expressions of a deeper unity. Cusa's coincidence of opposites is a direct challenge to the way we normally think. We are trained to categorize, to divide reality into boxes, good and evil, true and false, finite and infinite. But if God truly transcends creation, then no category applies without also being its opposite. God is both immanent, present in the world, and transcendent, beyond the world, both personal and beyond all personality. In this sense, theology must be both affirmative and negative. We can say that God is light, but also that God is darkness. God is being, but also beyond being. These are not contradictions to be resolved, but truths that coexist in the infinite. This approach resonates with mystical traditions across cultures. The Taoist yin and yang, the Advaitic union of Atman and Brahman, the Sufi notion of God as both the hidden and the manifest. Cusa's insight invites us to move beyond rigid thinking toward a contemplative vision that can hold opposites together without collapsing them. If God is the unity of opposites, then creation itself is an expression of that unity unfolding in multiplicity. Cusa envisioned the universe as finite yet without a fixed center, a startling idea in the 15th century, anticipating later astronomical revolutions. Just as the infinite contains all opposites, the cosmos reflects divine infinity in its diversity of forms. Every creature, every atom contains traces of the whole, and the harmony of the world arises from the interplay of differences held together in the divine mind. This means that conflict and contrast are not flaws in creation, but essential aspects of its beauty. Light is more vivid because of shadow. Music moves us through the tension between dissonance and resolution. For Cusa, the universe is a living mirror of God's coincident unity, and consciousness, especially human consciousness, is the place where the divine recognition of this unity can occur. For Nicholas of Cusa, human consciousness occupies a unique position. It is finite, yet capable of glimpsing the infinite. In moments of deep contemplation, we can sense the unity behind the opposites that shape our lives: joy and sorrow, life and death, self and other. These moments do not erase the reality of our differences, but they reveal them as part of a larger whole. In this sense, consciousness is the bridge between the finite and the infinite, the mirror in which the divine mind can see itself reflected. The recognition of the coincidence of opposites is not just an intellectual exercise. It is a transformative shift in perception, allowing us to live with greater openness, compassion, and humility. By seeing our conflicts, internal and external, as part of a deeper unity, we participate in the divine way of knowing, where nothing is excluded and everything is reconciled. Though rooted in Renaissance theology, Cusa's idea of coincident opposites finds surprising echoes in modern science and philosophy. In quantum physics, particles can behave as both waves and particles, a paradox that dissolves when viewed from a deeper understanding of quantum reality. In relativity, space and time are distinct, yet inseparable, forming a single space-time fabric. In systems theory, stability emerges from the interplay of opposing forces. Even in psychology, Carl Jung spoke of individuation as the integration of opposites within the self. Cusa's insight offers a philosophical framework for these phenomena. The contradictions we encounter are not errors to be eliminated, but signs that we are brushing against a deeper unity. The infinite mind, whether we call it God or the ground of being, is the horizon in which all opposites find their place. Nicholas of Cusa's doctrine of the coincidence of opposites invites us to live with a new kind of vision, one that can embrace paradox, hold tension without fear, and see unity where the surface shows division. In the infinite mind of God, light and darkness, motion and rest, joy and sorrow are not enemies, but aspects of a greater wholeness. This is not a call to deny differences or dissolve distinctions, but to see them as expressions of an underlying unity that transcends them. To live in this awareness is to walk through the world with both humility and wonder, recognizing that every person, every event, every contrast we encounter is part of the divine harmony. In the end, Cusa's vision is as much a spiritual practice as a philosophical theory. To see as God sees, where all opposites meet in the still point of infinite mind.